Welcome to my channel Truth Drama Stories. Today's story is about betrayal that started with a single sentence. A sentence spoken in front of family, spoken with confidence, spoken to erase someone's identity. This is a story about lies that lived for years, and the truth that waited patiently to be heard. My name is Olivia Carter. I'm 27 years old, and 3 months ago my brother told everyone I was adopted. He didn't whisper it. He didn't say it privately. He stood in the middle of my mother's birthday dinner, holding a glass of red wine, and said it like it was a joke. "You know she's not really Mom's daughter, right?" The words floated in the air before they landed, before anyone reacted, before anyone breathed. I remember exactly where I was standing, near the kitchen doorway holding a cake knife in my hand. The cake was chocolate with white frosting, my mother's favorite. 20 people were in that house. Aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, people who had known me my entire life. And suddenly they were all looking at me like I was a stranger. My brother, Daniel Carter, stood at the head of the dining table. He was 32, confident, calm, certain. He smiled as he took a sip of wine. "I mean," he continued, "Mom and Dad never told you? That's surprising." No one laughed. My Aunt Rebecca blinked. My cousin Josh shifted in his seat. My mother froze beside the kitchen counter. I felt something cold move through my chest. "What are you talking about?" I asked. My voice sounded steady, but it didn't feel steady. Daniel shrugged. "I'm just saying the truth. Emily was adopted. Mom and Dad took her in when she was a baby." He said it casually, like he was commenting on the weather, like he wasn't tearing something apart. I looked at my mother. Her name was Margaret Carter. She was 61 years old, and in that moment she looked smaller than I had ever seen her. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. That silence was louder than anything Daniel had said. "Mom," I whispered. She looked at me. Her eyes were full of something I didn't recognize. Fear, or guilt, or both. Daniel leaned back in his chair. "I always thought you deserved to know," he said. I felt something break inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet crack. Deep and permanent. Because Daniel wasn't just my brother. He was the person who used to walk me to school when I was 6. He was the person who taught me how to ride a bike. He was the person who held my hand at Dad's funeral. Or at least I thought he was. "You're lying," I said. Daniel tilted his head. "Am I?" He looked at Mom. And suddenly, every eye in the room followed his. Mom's hands trembled slightly. "Daniel," she said quietly, "this isn't the time." That wasn't a denial. That was something worse. I stopped breathing for a second, because if it wasn't a lie, then what was it? My entire life I had believed something simple. Something solid. That I belonged. That I was wanted. That I was theirs. And now, in the space of 10 seconds, that foundation was gone. I set the cake knife down carefully. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the air felt heavy. "Tell me the truth," I said. My voice was softer now. More fragile. Mom walked toward me slowly. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I needed to breathe. "Emily," she said. "Please." But she didn't finish the sentence. As she didn't know how. Daniel sighed. "You see," he said to the room, "she deserves honesty." His words sounded noble, but his eyes didn't. There was something else there. Something sharp. Something satisfied. And in that moment I realized something else. This wasn't an accident. He had planned this. Every detail. Every word. He had waited for the perfect moment. Mom's birthday. Family gathered. Witnesses everywhere. He wanted everyone to hear it at once. He wanted everyone to see me break. I didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of him. I just nodded slowly. "I need some air," I said. No one tried to stop me. I walked past the dining table, past the living room, past the photographs on the wall. Photographs of birthdays, Christmas mornings, family vacations. Photographs of a life that suddenly didn't feel real. I stepped outside into the night. The air was cool, quiet, still. I stood there on the front lawn staring at nothing. My hands were shaking. Not violently, Just enough to remind me that this was real. After a minute, I heard the front door open behind me. I didn't turn around. I knew it was her. "Emily," Mom said softly. I closed my eyes. "Is it true?" I asked. She didn't answer immediately. That silence said everything. Tears filled my eyes, but I forced them back. "How long were you going to keep it from me?" Her voice broke when she spoke. "I was never going to tell you like this." That wasn't an answer either. I turned to face her. She looked older than she had an hour ago. More fragile. "I am your mother," she said. I wanted to believe that. More than anything. But belief needs certainty. And certainty was gone. "Then why didn't you say no?" I asked. She didn't have an answer. Or maybe she did and it was too painful to say. Behind her, through the window, I could see Daniel. He was still at the table. Still holding his wine glass. Still calm. Still in control. And for the first time in my life, I didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize the person who could destroy someone so easily. I didn't recognize the brother I thought I knew. "I need time," I said. Mom nodded slowly. "I understand." But I wasn't sure she did. Because understanding this meant accepting something impossible. That everything I believed about my life might be wrong. That every memory might be built on something incomplete. That every moment might carry a truth I never saw. Walked to my car. My footsteps felt heavy. Each step felt like leaving something behind. Mom didn't follow me. She stayed on the lawn. Watching. Waiting. I opened the car door. Then I stopped. Because I realized something else. Daniel hadn't just revealed something. He had taken something. He had taken my certainty. My belonging. My identity. And I didn't know why. Not yet. But I would. Because lies don't live alone. They live beside truth. Waiting. And truth always leaves evidence. I got into the car and closed the door. For a moment I just sat there. Breathing. Trying to hold myself together. Through the windshield I could see the house. The same house I grew up in. The same house where Mom kissed my forehead every night when I was a child. The same house where Dad taught me how to tie my shoes. The same house that now felt like a stranger's. I started the engine. But I didn't drive away immediately. Because part of me was still hoping this was a misunderstanding. Still hoping Daniel was wrong. Still hoping Mom would come running out and say the words I needed to hear. But she didn't. The front door stayed closed. The lights stayed on. And the truth stayed exactly where Daniel had left it. Right in the center of everything. I drove away slowly. Not knowing that this was only the beginning. Not knowing that Daniel hadn't just told a lie. He had started something. Something he thought he could control. Something he thought would stay buried. But he was wrong. Because the truth was already moving. Quietly. Patiently. Waiting for its moment. The paper slipped from my fingers, but I caught it before it hit the floor. My hands were shaking so badly that the edges crumpled under my grip. Adoption certificate. The words burned into my eyes. For a moment I couldn't breathe. The air around me felt heavy, like the walls had moved closer. Like the house itself was pressing down on my chest. Forcing the truth into me whether I was ready or not. Then I heard Daniel's voice again. Low. Calm. Cold. "She doesn't need to know. She's not even blood. Not even blood." Each word landed like a blade. My heart started pounding so loudly that I was afraid they would hear it from the hallway. My pulse roared in my ears, drowning everything else. Mom didn't answer him immediately. That silence said more than anything else ever could. I pressed my back against the wall, trying to stay invisible. Trying to stay whole. But something inside me had already cracked. "She's still your sister," Mom finally said. Her voice sounded tired. Weak. Not protective. Daniel let out a short laugh. "She's not my sister," he said. "She's just someone you brought home. Just someone you brought home." My stomach twisted violently. I felt like I was going to be sick. I covered my mouth with my hand to stop any sound from escaping. As if they heard me. If they knew I was standing there. Everything would shatter. Mom sighed. "You don't understand," she said quietly. "No," Daniel replied. "You don't understand. Dad is gone. This house, the money, everything. It should stay with real family. Real family." My fingers tightened around the paper. My vision blurred. Because suddenly every memory I had didn't feel safe anymore. It felt fragile, like glass, and I was starting to see the cracks. I slowly stepped back, one careful step at a time. My feet moved silently across the wooden floor. My body felt numb, but my mind was screaming. I reached my room and closed the door gently. Too gently. Like any sudden movement might destroy the version of my life I had believed in for 24 years. I locked it. Then I leaned against the door and slid down to the floor. The paper was still in my hand. Proof. Proof that my life had started with a secret. My name is Olivia Carter, or at least that's the name they gave me. I stared at the certificate again. It said I was adopted when I was 2 years old. 2. Which meant I had lived 22 years in this house without ever knowing the truth. 22 years of birthdays, of family dinners, of hugs, of love, or what I thought was love. A memory surfaced suddenly. I was 8 years old. I had fallen off my bike and scraped my knee badly. Blood ran down my leg, and I cried harder than I ever had before. Dad had carried me inside. He held me gently and said, "You're stronger than you think, Liv." I remembered how safe I felt in his arms. How real it felt. Was that real? Or was that just kindness for someone who didn't belong? Tears slid down my face. I didn't wipe them away. I didn't have the strength. Another memory followed. Daniel standing in the kitchen when we were teenagers. He was 16. I was 14. He had looked at me with that same cold expression. "You don't belong here," he had said once during an argument. At the time I thought he was just being cruel. Now I wondered, did he already know? Had he always known? The thought made my chest ache. I pulled my knees to my chest and tried to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. But every breath felt broken. Every breath felt like betrayal. I looked around my room. Everything was familiar. My bed. My desk. The photos on the wall. Photos of birthdays. Photos of vacations. Photos of a family that suddenly didn't feel like mine. I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself to move. I walked to my desk and opened the drawer. Inside were letters Dad had written to me over the years. Encouraging letters. Supportive letters. He used to leave them on my desk before big exams. Before important moments. Picked one up. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Olivia," it began. "You are one of the strongest people I know. Never let anyone make you feel small." My vision blurred again. He knew. He had known. And he loved me anyway. That realization hit differently. It wasn't betrayal. It was protection. But protection from what? From Daniel? From the truth? Or from Mom? A soft knock on my door startled me. I froze. My heart jumped into my throat. "Olivia." Mom's voice came from the other side. Gentle. Careful. Like she was testing something fragile. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because if I spoke, my voice would give everything away. She knocked again. "Are you okay?" The question felt almost cruel. 'Cause nothing was okay. Nothing would ever be okay again. "I'm tired," I said finally. My voice sounded distant. Like it belonged to someone else. There was a pause. Then she said, "Okay. Get some rest." Her footsteps faded. I waited until I couldn't hear her anymore. Then I collapsed onto my bed. I stared at the ceiling. My mind replayed everything. Every word. Every moment. Every lie. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a minute. The darkness stretched endlessly, filled with questions that had no answers. By morning my eyes burned. My body ached. But the truth was still there. Waiting. Unavoidable. I got out of bed and walked to the mirror. I stared at my reflection. Same brown eyes. Same dark hair. Same face. But now it felt unfamiliar. Like I was looking at a stranger. "Who are you?" I whispered. The mirror didn't answer. Downstairs I heard voices again. Daniel and Mom. Talking quietly. I moved toward the door slowly. Carefully. And opened it just enough to hear. "We need to talk to the lawyer," Daniel was saying. "Lawyer." My heart skipped. "What about Olivia?" Mom asked. Daniel didn't hesitate. "She doesn't need to be involved." Silence followed. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then Mom said something that made my entire body go cold. "Robert made his decision clear. Robert. Dad. Daniel's voice hardened. That was before he died. Before he died. The words echoed in my head. Something about that sentence felt wrong. Dangerous. Like there was more they weren't saying. I stepped back. My breathing became uneven. Because suddenly I understood something. Dad had made a decision. And Daniel didn't like it. That meant Dad had chosen something. Or someone. And Daniel was trying to change it. A cold realization crept over me. This wasn't just about adoption. This was about inheritance. This was about money. This was about everything Dad had left behind. I returned to my room slowly. My thoughts raced. Pieces of a puzzle I didn't even know existed were starting to form a picture. And that picture was terrifying. Because it meant I wasn't just unwanted. I was inconvenient. And inconvenient things get erased. I sat at my desk again. The letter from Dad was still in my hand. I read it once more. You are stronger than you think. The words felt different now. He wasn't just encouraging me. He was preparing me. Preparing me for something he knew was coming. My chest tightened. Had he known Daniel would do this? Had he known the truth would eventually hurt me? A sudden determination flickered inside me. Small. Fragile. But real. For the first time since finding the paper, I felt something other than pain. I felt clarity. I stood up, walked to my closet, and reached for the small wooden box Dad had given me before he died. I had never opened it. He told me to keep it safe. To open it when you need the truth, he had said. At the time I didn't understand what he meant. Now I did. My fingers hovered over the lid. My heart pounded. As I knew, whatever was inside would change. Everything. I closed my eyes and slowly opened the box. The lid creaked softly as it opened. The sound was small, but it echoed inside my chest like thunder. Inside the box was a thick binder. Black leather. Worn at the edges. It wasn't new. It had been used. Handled many times. Dad's handwriting was on the front. Olivia. Just my name. Nothing else. My throat tightened. My fingers hovered above it for a moment. Afraid to touch it. Afraid of what truth it might hold. Afraid of what it might confirm. Then I picked it up. It was heavier than I expected. Not just in weight, but in meaning. I sat down slowly on the edge of my bed. The binder rested on my lap like something alive. Like something that had been waiting patiently for this moment. Waiting for me. My hands trembled as I opened it. The first page was a letter. Dad's handwriting. Clear. Steady. Familiar. I swallowed hard and began to read. Olivia. If you are reading this, it means the truth has found you. And I am not there to protect you from it anymore. My chest tightened. Tears filled my eyes instantly. He knew. He knew this day would come. I wanted to tell you myself. So many times. But I was afraid. Not because I was ashamed. Never that. I was afraid because I knew the truth would make your life harder. And you deserved peace. My hands gripped the page tighter. You are my daughter. Not by blood but by choice. And choice is stronger than blood. A tear fell onto the paper. I didn't wipe it away. I found you when you were 2 years old. You were alone. Abandoned. And the moment I saw you I knew you were mine. Not because I had to love you, but because I wanted to. My breathing became uneven. Every word felt like both comfort and heartbreak. You saved me, Olivia. You gave my life meaning. You gave me purpose. Never doubt that. Never let anyone make you feel like you don't belong. I pressed my lips together, trying to stop myself from breaking completely. Then I saw the next line. And everything inside me froze. Daniel never accepted you. My fingers went cold. I tried to help him understand. I tried to make him see what I saw. But his heart was different. And that is not your fault. Not your fault. The words repeated in my mind, over and over. I need you to know something important. I made arrangements. Legal arrangements. To protect you. Protect me? My heart began to race. You will find everything you need in this binder. Trust it. Trust yourself. The letter ended there. Simple. Direct. Final. My vision blurred as tears streamed down my face. But beneath the grief, something else was growing. Understanding. And strength. I turned the page. The next section contained official documents, legal papers, stamped, signed. I didn't understand all of it at first. The language was formal, complex, cold, but one phrase stood out immediately. Primary beneficiary. My name was next to it. Olivia Carter. I blinked. My heart skipped. I turned another page. Property ownership transfer. My name. Another page. Financial accounts. My name. Another page. Life insurance. My name. My breathing stopped. No, this couldn't be real. My hand shook as I flipped through more pages. Every document said the same thing. Dad had left everything to me. The house. The money. All of it. Not Daniel. Me. A strange numbness spread through my body. Because suddenly Daniel's words made sense. She's not even blood. He wasn't just angry. He was afraid. Afraid of losing everything. Afraid of me. A memory flashed in my mind. Daniel watching me at dinner last week. His eyes cold. Calculating. Like he was already planning something. My stomach turned. He knew. Or at least he suspected. I turned another page. This time it wasn't a legal document. It was a photograph. A small, slightly faded photo. It was me. As a toddler. Standing next to Dad. He was kneeling beside me. His hand gently resting on my back. His smile was soft, proud, real. I touched the photo gently. He never looked at me like I didn't belong. Not once. Another paper slipped out from behind the photo. A handwritten note. Short. Urgent. Olivia. If Daniel tries to challenge this, do not be afraid. The law is on your side. You are the legal owner. You always will be. My pulse quickened. He knew Daniel would try. He knew there would be a fight. He prepared me. Even after he was gone. My chest tightened, but this time it wasn't just pain. It was strength. He believed in me. That meant I had to believe in myself. For the first time in days, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel unwanted. I felt chosen. There was a sudden knock on my door. Sharp. Unexpected. I froze. My eyes moved slowly toward the sound. Then Daniel's voice came through. Olivia. My heart pounded instantly. I didn't answer. He knocked again. Louder. I know you're in there. His tone was different. Not angry. Controlled. That scared me more. I closed the binder quickly and held it against my chest. Like a shield. Open the door, he said. It wasn't a request. It was an order. My throat tightened. For 24 years I had listened to him. Obeyed him. Avoided his anger. But now I knew something he didn't know. This house wasn't his. It was mine. Still my hand trembled as I stood. I walked slowly toward the door. Each step felt heavy. Important. Final. I opened it just enough to see him. Daniel stood there. Tall. Cold. His eyes scanned my face carefully. Watching. Measuring. You've been quiet, he said. I didn't respond. He leaned slightly closer. Mom is worried. I almost laughed. Worried. That word felt empty coming from him. His eyes moved past me, trying to see inside my room. Looking for something. Looking for the truth. Can I come in? He asked. My heart pounded louder. Every instinct told me to say no. But fear still lived inside me. Old fear. Familiar. Fear. So I stepped aside. He walked in slowly. His eyes moved around the room. Observing everything. Calculating. Always calculating. Then his gaze landed on the binder in my hands. And everything changed. His eyes sharpened instantly. What's that? He asked. My fingers tightened around it. Nothing, I said quietly. His jaw clenched. That doesn't look like nothing. He stepped closer. I stepped back. The air between us became heavy. Dangerous. Where did you get it? He asked. I didn't answer. Because I finally understood something. He wasn't in control anymore. I was. And he could feel it. His voice hardened. Olivia. My name sounded like a warning. Like a threat. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of him. Not completely. Not anymore. Because Dad had given me something Daniel never could. The truth. And the truth was stronger than his anger. Stronger than his lies. Stronger than his cruelty. I looked him directly in the eyes, and I saw it. Fear. Just for a second. But it was there. And that changed everything. Daniel saw it in my eyes. He saw the shift. He saw the part of me that was no longer weak. His expression tightened, like he was trying to regain control of something that was already gone. "What is that?" he asked again. His voice was sharper now. Demanding. Not curious. Not concerned. Demanding. I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence breathe between us. I let him feel it. That unfamiliar space where he wasn't in charge. "It's mine," I said finally. My voice was quiet, but it didn't shake. His eyes narrowed. "What do you mean yours?" I swallowed slowly. "My name is on it." He stared at me. Really stared at me. Like he was trying to see how much I knew. How much I understood. "How much did you read?" he asked. There was no kindness in his voice. Only calculation. "Enough," I said. His jaw flexed. For a moment neither of us spoke. The air between us was thick with everything we weren't saying. Everything we both knew. Then he laughed. But it wasn't real laughter. It was empty. Cold. "You don't understand what you're looking at," he said. I didn't respond. Because I did understand. More than he wanted me to. More than he expected. "That binder doesn't change anything," he continued. "This house is mine. This family is mine." Family. That word didn't feel the same anymore. But it didn't break me this time. It strengthened me. I took a slow breath. "It's not," I said. He froze. Just slightly. But I saw it. I saw the crack in his confidence. His eyes hardened. "You think Dad would leave everything to you?" he asked. There was disbelief in his voice. And underneath it, fear. "He did," I said. The words landed heavily between us. Real. Unavoidable. His face changed. The calm mask slipped. And for the first time I saw the truth. He wasn't powerful. He was desperate. "That's not possible," he said. But his voice was quieter now. Less certain. "It is," I replied. I opened the binder. My hands were steady. I turned it toward him. "Read it." He didn't move at first. Like he was afraid to confirm what he already knew. Then he grabbed it. His fingers flipped through the pages quickly. His breathing changed. Faster. Sharper. His eyes moved across every document. Every signature. Every legal stamp. Every proof. And I watched his world fall apart. Page by page. "This isn't right," he muttered. But it was. "This is wrong." But it wasn't. His hands tightened around the binder. His knuckles turned white. "He was manipulated," Daniel said suddenly. His voice rose. He wasn't thinking clearly. I stared at him and realized something important. He wasn't trying to convince me. He was trying to convince himself. He knew exactly what he was doing, I said quietly. Daniel slammed the binder shut. "You don't deserve this," he snapped. The words echoed through the room. But they didn't hurt me. Not anymore. Because his anger wasn't truth. It was loss. "You're not even his real daughter." The sentence hung in the air. Sharp. Ugly. Final. I felt the impact. Of course I did. That kind of truth always leaves a mark. But it didn't destroy me. Because I finally understood something deeper. He chose me. Dad chose me. Not because he had to. Because he wanted to. And that choice mattered more than blood ever could. "He loved me," I said. Daniel laughed bitterly. "He pitied you." "No," I said calmly. "He protected me." Daniel stepped closer. His presence was heavy. Threatening. "You think this paper makes you important," he said. I didn't step back. I didn't shrink. "It makes the truth visible," I replied. His eyes burned with anger. But underneath it, I saw fear again. Real fear. Because he knew he had lost. There was nothing he could do. Nothing he could change. The law was clear. Dad was clear. And I was clear. "You're still nothing," Daniel said quietly. But his voice didn't have power. Anymore. It sounded empty. I looked at him. Really looked at him. And for the first time in my life, I didn't see someone stronger than me. I saw someone smaller. Someone fragile. Someone broken by his own hatred. That's where you're wrong, I said. He stared at me, waiting. I took a breath and spoke the truth that had lived inside me for years. I was never nothing. The silence that followed was different. It wasn't painful. It was freeing. Daniel looked at me for a long moment. Then he looked away. He handed the binder back slowly. His grip had lost its strength. "This isn't over," he said. But his voice lacked conviction. It sounded like a habit, not a promise. He turned, walked to the door, and stopped. For a second I thought he might say something else. Something real. Something human. But he didn't. He left. And the door closed behind him. Softly. Quietly. Finally. I stood there alone. The binder in my hands. My heart still racing. But not from fear. From release. From truth. From freedom. I walked to the window. Sunlight spilled across the floor. Warm. Gentle. Alive. For the first time in days I breathed fully. Deeply. Completely. This house didn't feel like a cage anymore. Felt like mine. Not because of the documents, but because of what they represented. Choice. Love. Truth. Dad didn't give me this house because he had to. He gave it to me because he believed in me. Because he saw me. Because he loved me. And that love didn't disappear with him. It lived here. In every wall. In every memory. In me. My name is Olivia Carter. I was abandoned once. I was doubted. I was lied to. But I was also chosen. And being chosen changed everything. Some people believe family is blood. But they're wrong. Family is the people who see you. Who protect you. Who choose you. Even when they don't have to. Daniel shared Dad's blood. But I shared his heart. And in the end, that was the only thing that mattered. Thank you for listening to my story. And if you've ever been made to feel like you don't belong, remember this. Your worth is not defined by where you came from. It's defined by who chooses you and who you choose to become. Welcome to Truth Drama Stories, where pain becomes power and truth becomes freedom.